Let's stand up here. Okay, yo, what is good, everybody? It is the Godfather of VR, the ageless one of the man, Lincoln Clay, coming back at you with a live stream. And this right here was something I could not pass up. This is Britanic, Patrons of the Mediterranean. This is an experience about the White Star ship, the Britanic. And the Britanic, to give you a little history about the Britanic was the third of the three ships belonging to White Star. We know about the Olympic, which was the first one put into service, then the Titanic, and then this was the third one, the Britanic. Now, so a little history behind this. White Star wanted to come up with three ships to compete against the Cunard line, which had ships like the Mauritania and the Lusitania. And I have done the Titanic venture before, and I gave my thoughts on that about the Titanic theory, about the switch theory. I do believe the ships were switched, and I do believe that they intended to sink the ship on purpose, but I think they did not mean to sink the ship by way of hitting a iceberg. I think they were just gonna get the passengers off the ship and then just sink it and go that way. I don't think they ever meant to hit a iceberg. But in any case, so after the Titanic sunk, or at least what we thought was the Titanic, this ship right here, the third ship, was supposed to be called the Gigantic, but because of the kind of like the backlash of the Titanic sinking, they changed the name of this ship to the Britanic. And so, one second here. Golfer, what is up? You said the stream is echoing? Wonder why is that? Okay. It shouldn't be an echo, but let's move on. Gosh, I couldn't even begin to think what's causing it to echo, but hopefully you guys can bear with it. So let's move on in the history lesson here. So as I was saying, that the name of this ship was originally supposed to be called the Gigantic, but because of the backlash over the Titanic sinking, they changed the name of this ship to Titanic. Now, this ship never saw commercial service because it was called into service for the war. So these laser pointers that I'm pointing at right here, it was after it was called into service by the British government. It was the HMHS Britanic, so which I think is which the HMHS stands for, I believe, His Majesty's Hospital Ship. Now the RMS, which it would have been called if it would have been put into commercial service, stands for Royal Mail Ship, because I guess that's how they made a big chunk of the money, along with carrying passengers, was they carried a lot of mail in these ships. So this ship, I guess what this experience lets you do is let you see this ship as the hospital ship, and let you see this ship the way it would have looked had it not been called into service by the British government, and if it would have been put into service. So I actually want to check all that stuff out. And this experience is definitely a lot different from the Titanic experience, because I think with the Titanic experience that I streamed, I don't know, over a year ago, I don't think it let me go inside the ship. I think the part that I played was from inside the subs to see the sunken wreck, and then you relive the night that the ship sunk. So what I want to do is go on a little bit of a tour. I'm not going to check every single thing of the ship, but I want to go on a tour, and then we'll go check out the sinking of the ship. So let me get my other earbud on. The game sounds fine, but my voice is echoing. Yeah, I'm wearing my Oculus Quest right now, so I couldn't even begin to find out where it's echoing at. But hopefully you guys can still understand me. So let's go ahead and go on the exterior of the ship. Which, before this stream started up, I did take a few seconds to to check out the ship. So let's look around a little bit. And these big giant arms right here are the davits. And you see, that's how they lowered the lifeboats into the water. Now, on the Titanic, these davits, you had to crank them. I believe, like, about right here, there was a crank, and you had to crank the davits. But I think after the Titanic sinking, they wanted to make more improvements to the ship. So these davits are electric. And boy, look at that smokestack, how big that is. So how many lifeboats we got here? One, 2, 3, 4, 5. Because I think after the Titanic sinking, I think ships were ordered to carry more lifeboats, because the Titanic, by law, they had enough lifeboats on the ship, but they only had enough for half the passengers. Let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we'll take a little bit of a nickel dime tour. I'm assuming this must be right here. This must be the controls to work the davits. And this is the rear of the ship. We'll come back up there in a second, but I want to see how far we can go towards the back of the ship. These windows lead to the third-class smoking room, significantly enlarged from what was on Olympic and Titanic. It was moved up a deck to accommodate the expanded size. This doorway leads to the morgue. In addition, made exclusively for the ship's hospital service. So, so when this ship was put in the service as a hospital ship, it was used to bring back the wounded and the dead. So I'm wondering right here is where they steered the ship from? Now, something I did not know about the Titanic and the Britannic is when they go to dock the ship, right here, this is the wheel, I think, in the back of the ship. So I think when they go to dock the ship and they need to throw the ship in reverse or something like that, then I think somebody takes over this telemotor to steer the ship when they park it. It was intended that an additional pair of large gantry davits would be added here like those on boat deck, but due to the tight construction schedule, they were substituted with standard Welland davits. The large gantry davits were intended for this space, can be seen on the ship's builder model. Damn, this thing had 4 cranes in the back? And here's the hatch right here. I believe on the Titanic when it sunk, the hatch, blew off. And I think they found it, or at least one of them. Okay. It's actually going to take a minute to walk back to the front of this ship. This was the largest of the 3 ships. Yep, that definitely had to be the control, the electric davits. So what happened with this ship is this ship sunk. So what happened was during the First World War, I think there was supposed to be like kind of an agreement in place where no hospital ships or passenger ships would be attacked. And I think Germany broke that and pretty much said they're attacking anything they catch in the water. And that's why the Lusitania got sunk. Now, according to what I had read in some of the documentaries that I saw, the Lusitania had American passengers on there, and Britain knew it. And they knew the Germans were going to sink it. But they went ahead and let it happen because they were trying to get America involved in the war, and America didn't want to get involved in the war. So they, so I guess they figured that, let's see here. While Britannic's plan indicate this room was for senior officer, a lone tub can be found on the wreck that is not indicated on any plans. Wow. So let's go have a look out the front, out the window, see the front of the ship. There's a crow's nest. Now, these smokestacks, let's see. Only one of them's putting out smoke. Now, from what I understand, I don't know about this ship, but with the Titanic, these smokestacks, 3 of them worked. One of them was just a dummy. The smokestack didn't work. I guess it was just there for cosmetic purposes because back then, ships were built with 4 smokestacks. So I guess it was just, you know, for looks to have a 4th smokestack on there. Britanic was not intended to have any of the traditional Welland davits at all, instead only having lifeboats nested in a large gantry davits. However, because Britannic's instruction was so behind schedule, the Welland davit boat stations were added to compensate for the missing gantry davits by the bridge on the shade deck. So shit, I didn't know that the ship wasn't done when it was called into service, that there still was some construction that had to be done. Okay, so let's go back to the main menu. So let's go check the grand staircase out, because I definitely want to know what that would have looked like, you know, in its real scale. Please don't tell me the game crashed on me. Looks like this game has crashed. I might have to shut it down and start it over again. Okay, so damn it. All right, let's see if we're back. Okay. Okay. So let's come back. Let's see, see the boiler room. Oh my God, this is crazy. This is nuts. This doorway leads to Scotland Road, the main crew passage. This is crazy. They had to go through all this to get down to the boiler room. Holy shit. Look at the size of that boiler. See if there's any other way to get down there. These boilers look a little bit different than the boilers that were on board the Titanic. Yeah, these boilers look a little bit different. This wheelbarrow is still in this position on a wreck and has prevented divers from going deeper in the ship on early dives. Wow. This tunnel leads under the ship's cargo holds, giving stokers direct access between their quarters and workspace. Now, from what I understand, on board the Titanic in the Olympic, the workers that shoveled coal into these boilers, they pretty much had to stay down here. They, I guess they would work all day shoveling coals into the boilers, and then when their shift was over, they just pretty much went back to their quarters and stayed there. Because I don't think they were allowed up on the ship to try to mix with passengers. Now, according to what I had seen in documentaries and read, the one thing that like terrifies people working on a ship is a fire within these within the coal bunker, because it can lead to an explosion. Holy shit. Imagine being trapped down here when the Titanic struck that iceberg and that water was rushing in. Preceding the Titanic disaster, the double bottom of the Britanic was raised. The solid plating seen here is the inner part of the raised bottom. So yeah, so I'm guessing these must be like more modified boilers. I know it had to be hot as hell down here too. And they had to climb all this way to get to the top. Okay, so the game won't let me go any further than that. Okay, so let's check out another part of the ship. Damn! I still want to see the staircase. Let's see if we can check it out. I might end up, hopefully I won't have to shut this down again and start it up. Oh yeah. Damn. Oh, look at that over there. There's a shipyard where it was built. Boat deck elevators. Unlike Olympic and Titanic, Britanic's elevators extended up to the boat deck. Piano. So let's go down there and see the bottom of this grand staircase. So this was it. Wow. Wow. Like the Olympic and Titanic, Britanic had its own version of the honor and glory clock panel in her grand staircase. In recent years, it has been falsely speculated that there was a painting here. Instead, Harlan and Wolff documents proved this was wrong. Wow. Manufactured in Germany by M. Welton Sohn and was uninstalled before its sinking. It survives today in the museum in Switzerland. It still works. Now this right here, so with the Olympic, which I believe is actually the Titanic, the Olympic went on to serve about 20 years of service. And now, I think shortly after the Titanic sinking, White Star was in some serious financial trouble and was about to file for bankruptcy. And I think they looked to the British government for a bailout. And I think they were made to merge with the Cunard line. So in the case of the Olympic, after about 20 years, she was sold for scrap. And a lot of the stuff inside the ship was auctioned off. And I think this statue was one of them. This doorway would lead to the Britanic's lower lounge, Britanic's lounge and her reading and writing room, the latter of which was downsized to accommodate additional cabins. And they still had it looking like this as a hospital ship. Look at the chandeliers up there. Now, I think we seen some of that from the Titanic wreck, that they were able to find some of those. This is a pretty slick looking. Wow. Music's a little creepy. This doorway leads to first-class staterooms. Wow. Which, if you were third class or steerage, you probably had no business here. And I imagine all this stuff was arranged this way because it was commissioned as a hospital ship. So if I'm not, hold on. Britanic's inquiry office was essentially the help desk of the ship. Passengers could make requests, give complaints, or make special arrangements for their travels here. Notice the glass encasement that was added, different from Titanic and Olympic. So I'm guessing this was the customer service deck on board the ship. Yeah, you can see right there, down there, this stuff looks like it was never arranged. While you cannot get to them, this doorway leads to the first class staterooms. It is also a watertight door, as Britannic's watertight bulkheads were heightened after the Titanic disaster. Yeah, that music's a little bit creepy. But yeah, that grand staircase was something to behold. So let's check out another part. And I want to check out a couple of more things, and then we'll check out the real-time syncing. I don't think I'm gonna, if this is gonna make you sit on the ship minute by minute of the sinking, then forward grand staircase, Regal Suite, Georgia Suite, swimming bath. Oh, I get it. What we just saw right there was what it would have looked like if it was put into commercial use. Over here, the this is, if we go check it out now, this is what it's going to look like as a hospital ship. So let's see the exterior of the ship. Let's see it as the RMS, how it would have looked if it would have been put into commercial service. So nothing really changed. It still looks the same. The only difference is the exterior of the ship is black. Whereas the entire ship was painted white. So let's see the ship at night. Yep, just like I said about the smokestacks, 3 of the smokestacks are working, but that 4th one back there isn't working. And you see the whistles on each of the smokestacks. Let's see the exterior at night, because basically what I want to see is what it basically looked like at night on the Titanic. Because this is what the Titanic experience should have gave you. Oh, man. I gotta say, this looks nice the way it's lit like that. Wow. Okay, so I guess it's time to go have a look at the sinking. Let me come back for a second. All sound okay? I had 2 windows open. Oh, no problem, no problem. So now let's check out the sinking. So what happened with the sinking of this ship? I'm looking at it right here. Holy shit! Like looking at the back of it right there. This, wow. In the gangway leading up inside the ship. So what happened was the Britanic had just dropped off a bunch of wounded soldiers, and after the soldiers had been dropped off, all these portholes that you see, these windows, basically, you know, for the they were open because a bunch of rooms had been cleaned and disinfected, so the portholes were open in order to air these rooms out. So that's why this ship sunk so fast. It took the Titanic about 2.5 hours to sink. This ship right here, I believe it took about 45 minutes to sink. Now there was an explosion, I think on the front, on the port starboard side, you know, on the port side of the ship, left side of the ship, towards the front, there was an explosion. And I read one article that said they don't know what the explosion was. Another article said that they believe a ship struck a German mine, and they basically accused Germany of planting mines in an area where they weren't supposed to. And basically what Germany said was, in all likelihood, this ship was probably carrying soldiers and ammunition, so if it was sunk, then it got what it deserved. You know, that's I'm just paraphrasing. So let's have a little bit of a look at the sinking. So once the ship, I think, struck the mine, I think at first the captain ordered all engines stopped. But the ship was sinking so fast that then the captain, I think he made the decision to go ahead and fire the engines back up. So they were going to try to beach the ship, because this ship is, I think this ship is only like in 500 feet of water, and it's laying on its side, and the ship is intact. So I've seen videos where they, you know, divers went inside the ship, but it's covered with all kinds of, I think like moss and so this is the sinking in real time. And I don't think I'm going to sit through 45 minutes of this, at least not through this stream, and bore you guys to death just looking around waiting for it to sink. So I think what I'm going to do is just go back to the main menu and get halfway through the sinking. Sinking started at midpoint. Sounds like the ship's already taking in water. But I can't see anything yet. Here we go. Yeah, you can tell by this the ship's leaning. You see the davits right there, cranking out the boats. Oh, right here you can see by the cranks right there, it still had the standard hand davits on there too. So, from what I understand, like the Titanic, about 1,500 people died in the Titanic sinking. This sinking right here, only 17 people died, and the reason why they died was, I guess a lifeboat was launched without permission, and the boat was lowered into the water, and it got the rear propeller of the ship was sticking out of the water, and it sucked the lifeboat in and pretty much grinded up everybody that was on that lifeboat. So I want to get to the front of the ship. See if can I go underneath that davit? So we're going to be able to see the front end submerged in water. There it is right there, taking on water. Now, there was a nurse on board this ship. And I guess ironically, she was a Titanic survivor. She was on the Titanic when it sunk. Damn. So yeah, you see the shore in front of us. So as I was saying, because of how fast the ship was sinking, they decided to go ahead and try to beach the ship to try to get as close as they can, you know, to the shore, and just beach the ship, which I think that would have been so the nose of this ship started going under, and the back end was raising. So they picked the boat up out of here. So this must be where the davits swung over to pick up a boat. Let me look to the other side, see if the davits are swung out on the other side. Now I think that right there is a hospital cross we're looking at. Hear all that metal and shit bending and twisting. Oh shit. I wonder if they're going to show one of these smokestacks go over, because that's, I don't know, I think the ship is starting to lean more. Now, as the ship went into the water, I think one of the smokestacks fell off. Let me go back to the front of the ship and see if it looks like it's taking in more water. Because you heard metal bending and twisting and stuff. Yeah, that's not sounding good. So I want to get to the front of the ship to see if is this showing the the real-time sinking, or is it just the ship is just in this position so I can observe everything. I want to go see the front of the ship and see if it's taking on more water. Oh no, this is the real-time sinking because the ship is taking on more water. Now somebody did, I think what happened is somebody did a computer animation of the real-time sinking of this ship. And I think what they did was just turn the VR experience out of it. Another ship being... Yeah, there's a couple of more boats being lowered. You adjust the headset here. Get my earbud back on, because if that smokestack falls over, I don't want to miss it. I don't know which smokestack fell. Damn, this is a long-ass ship. Damn, the more I get towards the back, the louder it's getting. Yeah, this ship is leaning even more. I can... I want to go to the back and see if there's anything that resembles the back end sticking out the water. Yeah, the back end sticking out the water. You can see the weird angle that the cables have from the davits. All right, I want to make my way back to the front of the ship because I want to see how much water we've taken on. Because by now, the front of the ship is probably submerged. I wonder if that was the call for help. Damn, that's not sounding good. See where we at. Holy shit. That's a wrap for this ship. Damn. Only thing left really to wait for is for the for one of those smokestacks to come down. Oh shit! Look at this! That water's rushing in here fast! Look at that! The whole right side of the ship, the davits. It's submerged in water. Imagine being on the Titanic when shit like this happened. That all the panic and screaming and shit that went on. Holy fuck, this shit is going down quick. We'll keep moving. And the way this ship is tilting, it's actually screwing with my equilibrium. Oh shit, I think that's a wrap. There it is. And I am officially in the water. Damn! Let me get to the back of the ship and see the back end sticking out. See, I think by now everybody's off the ship, but the Titanic? No. See that propeller sticking out of the water? God. There's the other smokestack ready to go. I was about to quit the stream, but now it got good, so I'll... hang on a few more minutes. I'm acting like it's a real sinking and trying to keep my distance from the ship. So this, as I said, this ship is in 500 feet of water. So I'm thinking by now, the nose of the ship probably already hit the bottom. Holy shit. So I wonder if it was total silence once it went under the water. At this point now, I'm panicking because I'm wondering if it's sharks in the area. Gone. All right, let's come back to the chat and get ready to wrap this up. What is up, Gaming Legends? What is going on? Stand underneath the fallen smokestack. Can you swim? This is the third ship, the Britanic, sister to the Olympic and the Titanic. This ship was commissioned as a hospital ship during the First World War. So this ship never saw commercial use. She was the biggest. She was the longest of all three ships. And after the Titanic sunk, they tried to make some modifications to this ship. Like, I guess they raised the bulkheads for the watertight compartments all the way up to the ceiling, so to speak. Smokestack had steam coming out because of water in engine. Yeah, it's a steamer. So basically, inside the ship was a tank of water, and the boilers were underneath it. The boilers built up the pressure, and that's what drove the ship. So, Project X, what is up? So I think that's probably gonna do it. Yeah, I think I'll go ahead and wrap it up right there. This was history. Now, too bad it couldn't have been like people on the ship, but there was more or less like a skeleton crew on this ship because they had just dropped off a bunch of wounded soldiers. So I think, like I said, I think only like 17 people were killed. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna go ahead and wrap this up. Thanks for watching, everybody. This was a neat little experience, especially seeing this ship in its actual size. This is almost too big to comprehend. See that big light on that hospital emblem? That's crazy. Yeah. Golfer, this was good on flat screen. I will be getting it for VR. Okay. Yeah, this came out a few days ago. So, yeah, definitely check it out in VR. And I'm doing this through the Quest link. Tomorrow, I should be getting my new cable for the Rift S. So I'll be back to doing stuff on the Rift S. But this looked pretty good through the Oculus Quest. And I will stream Phantom Covert Ops tomorrow. So I wanted to wait until, you know, my Rift S was back in working order before I do that. So, but all right, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. Wow, nice little experience. But that's going to do it for me. I will catch you all tomorrow when I do the Phantom Covert Ops stream. You all have a nice night. Wakanda forever. Deuces. Catch you later, gaming legends.